On this edition of Good Day DePaul, the midterm elections. They're coming up and could be critical going forward.
A Chicago community and its church. Some are fighting to keep it.
And a tough injury for a DePaul basketball player. I'm Melissa Gomez.
And I'm Shadan Gomez, and this is Good Day DePaul.
November the 8th, that's the date of the upcoming midterm elections. Elections that could be crucial for much of the country. Good Day DePaul's Lily Lowndes has our report.
Across the country, candidates are making their final push for the midterm elections. These come in a non-presidential election year in the middle of a president's term, hence the name midterms. According to DePaul political expert and journalism professor Chris Bury, there are two main issues voters are focused on in this election.
When we're looking at issues this fall, the two ones that appear to be driving voters the most are the economy and abortion rights. And Republicans have the advantage on the economy. For some reason, voters think they're going to do a better job. Democrats have a big advantage on abortion rights. But problematically for the Democrats is that the economy outweighs concern about abortion rights as of now.
This midterm season, there are 34 senators' races, 36 governors' races, and all 435 seats in the House of Representatives on the ballot. Once the votes are counted, many experts feel the House could flip from majority Democrat to majority Republican.
It is very likely that the House will flip. Republicans only need a net gain of 8 House seats to take over the House again. On average, the president's party loses on average 26 seats in midterm elections. So it won't take much for the Republicans to maintain or to take over control of the House.
Bury says that the Senate, which is also currently controlled by the Democrats, is facing a more uncertain race.
While it seems pretty clear that Republicans are likely to take the House, the Senate is really up for grabs, and we have no idea. I don't think we're going to know until election night or maybe even days after the election who controls the U.S. Senate.
The governor's elections are also vitally important this year. In Illinois, incumbent Democrat J.B. Pritzker is running against Republican challenger Darren Bailey. DePaul College Republicans treasurer Brandon Eisenhut, who is interning at the Republican National Committee, or RNC, feels the Illinois gubernatorial race is not a key election for Republicans, but he emphasizes that this is his personal opinion and does not necessarily reflect the views of the RNC.
It would have to be such a red wave year for Darren to win. To focus attention there for the Republican Party it's meaningless when we could win in Nevada, Wisconsin, flipping Tony Evers' seat, which is where I'm from. Those are more productive.
Eisenhut, who is from Waterford, Wisconsin, is hopeful that Republican challenger Tim Michels can beat incumbent Democrat Tony Evers in the Wisconsin governor's race.
I'm hopeful for Tim Michels personally. I think that, Wisconsin it's purple state, so they're going to go with the trends. When you have a president who has a disapproval rate at 50 to 55%, it doesn't bode well for Democrats in any sense.
Bury thinks that Wisconsin will uphold its reputation as a purple state in the midterm elections by electing a Democratic governor and a Republican senator.
This is one of the most interesting races in the country. It's possible in Wisconsin that the incumbent governor, Tony Evers, could stay in office, and the Republican, Ron Johnson, could also stay in office. That is, if Republicans split their tickets, which I might say is very unusual in politics today. Very unusual.
DePaul freshman and Wisconsinite Sarah Hoyt is voting in her first midterm election this fall. Hoyt is voting by mail and encourages other voters to ensure their voices are also heard.
I feel like it's just specifically for Wisconsin and other kind of swing states. I think it's very, very important to make sure you and everyone that is capable to get out and vote, mostly because it does make an impact bigger than you would think.
Whether you're registered to vote in Illinois or another state, it's important to participate in democracy and vote for candidates you believe in. See you at the ballot box. For Good Day DePaul, I'm Lily Lowndes.
A DePaul student was assaulted recently on the Loop campus. It occurred on November 19th at about 5:49 p.m. DePaul Public Safety says a man approached the student from behind and punched him in the face, injuring the student's eye. The man then fled southbound on State Street. No word on why the assault occurred or whether an arrest has been made.
Crime is also an issue in the Wrigleyville area, home to many at DePaul. Recently, during one weekend, 5 people were attacked early in the morning on Saturday and Sunday, just south of Wrigley Field at Clark and Addison. The people were forced into cars, had their wallets and phones taken, and then were let go. No one was injured. Police now say they'll provide more officers to patrol that area.
College enrollment nationwide is down for the 3rd straight year, with undergraduate enrollment about 7% lower than in 2019 before the pandemic. This from a new report by the National Student Clearinghouse Research Center. The report indicates that colleges still have not completely recovered from deep enrollment drops during the pandemic. Here at DePaul, the university's Joint Council issued a report recently detailing drops in enrollment. The most significant decreases were in graduate, adult, continuing education, and transfer student enrollments.
DePaul is the largest Catholic university in the nation, and it's in a city with many old and beautiful Catholic churches. But for many years, some of these churches have been closing for financial and other reasons. Often, the church members have opposed these closings. Now, as I found out, all of this is playing out in the Pilsen neighborhood on Chicago's southwest side.
Founded in 1874 by Polish immigrants, constructed in 1912, St. Adalbert's Church stands proudly on 17th Street here in the heart of Pilsen, but now it is closed.
This church is built on the Polish people's blood and sweat. They came with nothing. There was no country there. They came here per immigrants, and they built these churches as testament to their belief in God. And they built these for future generations, not just for themselves. These were gifts to the city of Chicago.
Adorned with Italian marble and stained glass windows, St. Adalbert's was a symbol of the community's faith. According to the St. Adalbert's Preservation Society, the church was considered the mother church of the Polish Roman Catholic community of the south and west sides of Chicago and unites the Polish and Mexican communities that live here now. The Chicago Catholic Archdiocese shut down the church in 2019, claiming there was low attendance at masses and that it would be costly to make needed repairs. The closing devastated both the congregation and the community. Since then, the Archdiocese has begun plans to remove the beloved La Pieta replica statue and put it in another church about a mile away. This is against the wishes of much of the community and Alderman Siccho Lopez. For the former parishioners, the removal is personal. Demetrio Reyes and his wife began their journey together at St. Adalbert's. Longtime members of the community, they were married here in 2007 and are continuing to fight to preserve the church and hopefully even reopen it.
I love this church because I get married here in this church, and I love this church. I love inside, everything, and we need to fight for open the church, because it is in our community, yeah.
Reyes explained that every Sunday, rain, snow, or shine, people still come to pray outside the church, where they have set up their own altars. Former parishioners have protested the removal of the La Pieta replica for months, many of them standing in the cold and trying to prevent the removal from happening. They fear that this would be another step toward destroying the parish. As you can see behind me, St. Adalbert's is now boarded up as plans to remove the La Pieta statue came to a halt on Tuesday in a small victory for the devoted parishioners sitting out here praying and protesting. They claim that the statue belongs to the people and the parish and not the Archdiocese. Plans to give St. Adalbert's landmark status began in 1974 and were approved by the Landmarking Committee in 2020, but those plans have now stalled. This landmark status would preserve the church, keeping the La Pieta statue within the walls of St. Adalbert's. Good Day DePaul contacted the Archdiocese of Chicago, but have not received a response. Gerardo Reyes, president of the St. Francis of Assisi Preservation Committee, is working to reopen the church as they did with the Church of St. Francis of Assisi. He is one of the many people fighting for St. Adalbert's.
And they will succeed. They will succeed, I'm telling you. They have to organize and believe in God that this is possible. There's nothing impossible with God. And we need to keep the faith and continue with the faith and pray God that this will be safe for generations to come.
For Good Day DePaul, I'm Melissa Gomez.
Many DePaul students take CTA trains and buses to classes and jobs, but lately, there's been a big problem. Some of those trains have been late or never showed up. The reason? The CTA says it doesn't have enough drivers to operate all its trains. Despite this, the CTA now says it's going to adjust its schedules to help deal with this problem. Her name is Triumph J. Williams, and she's a theater student here at DePaul. She's also the daughter of former basketball player Jason Williams, who played in the NBA and before that at St. John's University in New York. Now, as I found out, Triumph J. Williams and her sister are embroiled in a controversy with St. John's. The reason? Their father.
Into the lane, Williams follows with a two-hand jam.
Williams, the jumper over McDice, and Jason Williams feeling it early. Back on the dish, Williams slams it down.
Jason Williams was an NBA basketball player for 11 seasons, primarily with the New Jersey Nets. He was an All-Star in 1998. Before that, Williams played for St. John's University in New York between 1987 and 1990. Recently, Williams was inducted into the St. John's Athletics Hall of Fame. For some, this is positive news, but for others, it's the complete opposite.
I saw on their story that they had posted a flyer asking people to buy tickets for him to be inducted into the Hall of Fame. And I just immediately just felt like the ground fall from underneath my feet. Immediately, I just went into a shock kind of silence. Like I literally did not speak for 6 hours. It's that feeling in your chest when you know something's wrong and you know you need to speak about it.
19-year-old Triumph J. Williams, a theater student at DePaul University, is the daughter of Jason Williams. Both Triumph and her sister Wisdom wrote open letters regarding the induction, accusing their father of neglect and verbal and emotional abuse.
Jason signed, especially throughout his years in the NBA, he's gotten an astronomical amount of money. Like he's received deals that are $60 million. But I've never gotten a birthday gift. I've never gotten a Christmas gift. I've never gotten any of my schooling. I've been blessed that I have these opportunities to act and to foster my craft. That's all been paid for by my mom.
Throughout the interview, Triumph went back and forth referring to Jason Williams as dad and by his first name. When asked why, she recalls a moment when she was about 10 years old.
I would still call him dad, like in the most heartbreaking, sad way, to kind of like watch a child chase after an adult who will never love them. And my sister and I would call him dad and daddy and all of these things. There was absolutely a moment where he told my sister and I, like, I am not your dad anymore. Like, call me Jason. I'm not your dad anymore. So it was not a switch that we wanted.
In 2002, Jason Williams was charged with accidentally shooting and killing his chauffeur. He served more than a year in prison for that shooting. Triumph says her father never tried to have a relationship with her or her sister.
He never reached out once. And my father just reciprocating with abuse or negligence or drug-fueled frenzies or things that just aren't sustainable to having like a good mental health space.
Following his time in prison, Jason Williams founded an addiction rehabilitation program in Florida. A St. John spokesperson, Brian Brown, sent a statement to the Associated Press that deals with Williams' induction into their Athletics Hall of Fame. Quote, Jason Williams' life journey is one that includes childhood trauma, time spent in a homeless shelter, addiction, incarceration, and recovery, issues that impact countless American families. The family dynamic between Jason and his children is not a matter that St. John's University will discuss. Part of the recovery and redemption process is restoring trust, accepting help, and finding comfort and support in the journey, and that, coupled with his athletic accomplishments, is what St. John's University recognizes with Jason Williams during this homecoming weekend. Triumph believes it takes a certain person to be part of the Hall of Fame.
And for them to ignore all of those signs, all of that information about character, to just honor someone because they can make shots or get rebounds is just disgusting. And when I look at Jason, he's absolutely not worthy. Absolutely not.
When asked if she had a message for her father, she had this to say.
But for anyone who has a dad who is a deadbeat or abandons them or ignores them or says they don't want to be their dad anymore or calls them bad names or is addicted to a drug or is under the influence of anything, like, more than ever making a message to Jason, I just want to say I'm here for you. Like, I am here for you.
For Good Day DePaul, Shaden Gomez.
I'm here for you.
Next in sports, a key player on the DePaul men's basketball team is out with an injury.
That story and more when Good Day DePaul returns.
I think we should split. Split up? Why? I want to meet new people. People who need me. Meet new people? You're my left kidney. You only need one of me, man. And you have two. There are plenty of people out there who are dying because they don't have one. Really? You'll be giving the gift of life. I could be a hero. Yeah. It's all win-win up here, buddy. Why don't you go and save a life, pal? You're doing the right thing.
In sports, a tough loss for the DePaul men's basketball team. Transfer guard Caleb Murphy had surgery on his wrist and will miss at least 6 weeks. The Blue Demons open their season on November 7th against Loyola, Maryland.
In men's soccer, a DePaul split their last 2 Big East games, beating Marquette but losing to UConn. Their season's record is now 4-5-6.
In women's soccer, the Blue Demons tied Creighton and lost to Villanova. They're now 3-12-1 on the season.
In volleyball, DePaul broke a 5-game losing streak, beating Seton Hall. The Blue Demons are now 7-15 on the season.
Coming up, a big career fair will be held at DePaul.
Details when we return.
The flu is unpredictable and can be serious. Who needs to be vaccinated against the flu? You. Get a flu vaccine. For more information, www.flu.gov.
DePaul will be holding a big tech and design career fair on November 10th. Employers will be there to recruit for a variety of industries in tech and design. The event will take place from 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. on the lower level concourse of the DePaul Center on the Loop campus.
That's all for this week's edition of Good Day DePaul. You can keep up with us by visiting our Vimeo channel at Good Day DePaul or by going to goodday.depaul.edu.
And make sure to check us out on Facebook.
And if you have any news tips, message us through the Good Day DePaul social media channels.
Thanks for watching. I'm Shaden Gomez.
And I'm Melissa Gomez. Have a good day, DePaul.